Sabrina Carpenter is getting a ton of backlash online for her newest album, Man's Best Friend, and in particular the album cover, where she is posed on all fours as a man is holding her hair in a very sexual manner. The girlies say that this is objectifying women and setting them back decades. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about Sabrina Carpenter, and I gotta be honest, I am not a fan of Sabrina Carpenter, but this girl keeps popping up left, right, center. I see her on every single social media platform. Her music is everywhere, and now there's this huge controversy over her newest album cover for the album titled Man's Best Friend. Now, I've shown you the album cover. Did you guys have an immediate reaction of disgust? Does it irk you? Did it take you back? No, for me, it didn't. It's every single thing that a pop girl has been doing for, I don't know, the past few decades, but apparently this is very shocking for the feminist community, and Sabrina Carpenter is setting them back. I'm going to read you a few reactions before we get into some deeper commentary on this album cover. So, here on X, it said that it's not normal for the new generation of pop girls to do things like this. It's neither sexy nor cool, it's just disgusting and objectifying women. Another one says, I find this aesthetic so gross. Never felt disappointed by a favorite celeb, but here we are. You're sick if you find this attractive. No, Sabrina Carpenter is not centering men, she is dehumanizing women. Get it right. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Sabrina Carpenter as a pop star, she's got hits like Espresso, Please, 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 Nonsense, Juno, and if I had to describe her particular niche, if we can even call it that, she is kind of like an old school mixed modern hypersexual, but in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way, pop star. Does that make sense? If not, just keep following me on this. Now, Sabrina Carpenter is known for being overtly sexual, as I said before, so this Man's Best Friend album cover is not the most shocking surprise, but what Sabrina Carpenter typically does is she turns the sexuality on its head by disparaging men. So she will play into a male fantasy and then bring down men on the way out. A great example of Sabrina Carpenter doing this is with a song she has called Taste. And if you check out the lyrics to this song, it's essentially her talking to a girl who is now dating a man that she was with and saying, you know what, you're just gonna have to taste me when he's kissing you. And in the music video, she and Jenna Ortega are consistently fighting over this man, but by the end of the music video, their fighting with one another leads to the man's death. So you may look at Sabrina Carpenter and think that she's constantly performing for men, but she flips it on its head and the men end up becoming the enemy or the person who's brought down by the end of the show. Now, is this the most groundbreaking, earth-shattering feminist message you've ever heard in your life? Most definitely not. And I kind of think it's quite clever on behalf of Sabrina Carpenter and her team that she gets to sort of play into this message because she wins on both ends. She gets to play this sort of sexy pinup that has the normal Western appeal that every single female pop star has, while also somewhat subverting the messaging and getting to play feminist by making the men the butt of the joke. So Sabrina Carpenter essentially gets to be everything that a man wants while she does her little weird sexual positions on stage as she's touring, while also placating to the Feminism 101 student who's in her audience and wants to see her hate men. But this album cover for Man's Best Friend apparently isn't hitting. Let's watch some TikTok responses.
If Sabrina Carpenter's album cover was effective satire, it would make men feel uncomfortable and women feel seen. It would use lighting, color, costuming, aesthetic to convey the role that women often feel put in as man's best friend in terms of being treated like a dog. It needed to be so subversive that men would not be able to gain pleasure from it or misinterpret it. She could have taken a risk and made herself look less desirable, ugly even. She could have put out an image that is so unsettling, so uncomfortable that it forces us to examine the dynamics of servitude between men and women in relationships. At the end of the day, this album cover is basically a honeypot for any dominant male FetLife user. Her facial expression is amorous, yearning, sexy, desirable, and seems to be truly enjoying the position of submission that she's in. And while it's fine that women explore kink, submission, and sexuality, this is a strange juxtaposition against her music and the message that she sends as a critique generally of the way that men behave in relationships. I think the reason that people are having such a hard time with this and with criticizing it in general is because people like Sabrina Carpenter a lot more than they like Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney is the woman that women have been trained and conditioned to hate, fear, and envy. Sabrina Carpenter came off funny, charming, sympathetic, and like a girl's girl. I need everybody to know it's okay to criticize people that you like, and that satire doesn't function as satire if it so closely mimics the very thing that it's trying to insult that you can't tell the difference. And as far as setting feminism back 100 years, I don't think Sabrina Carpenter has the power to do that. And I don't honestly think that people are even as upset as they think they are, or about the things that they think they are. Honestly, I just think it was a very weird, ambiguous choice, and the photo's just not that good and not that interesting. It's been done to death 1,000 times. I expected more creatively.
Yeah, so toward the end there, I can see a lot that I agree with. This has been done a bazillion times, and I don't think we're ever going to see anything all that shocking from a modern day mainstream pop girl. Virtually ever. And to be honest, I don't think Sabrina Carpenter has ever been one or will ever be one to come out with a particularly unnerving or uncomfortable message. She is by definition a mainstream pop artist, which means her message has to be digestible to a modern, wide-scale audience. At best, if I'm trying to inject some 2025 feminism into Sabrina Carpenter's album cover, I think we may get some sort of scene or some sort of story on this album where man's best friend actually turns into a sort of sick'em dog and ends up, taking over and betraying its owner. I don't think she's gonna go much further than that. To expect any sort of complex feminist political take from somebody who ends a song with, "Woke up this morning, thought I'd write a pop hit. How quickly can you take your clothes off? Pop quiz," I think is expecting a lot. But nonetheless, let's watch another TikTok that is critical of Sabrina Carpenter in this cover.
Because here's what's up. I think that a lot of these young fans of hers are they're politically feminist, but you haven't done the work. You haven't done research into women's history. You don't know how fucking far behind we are. Do you know how many countries women just don't have education, are not allowed to get education? When women are seen as subservient objects, subservient beings, animals, if you look back into feminist language, into feminist insults, almost every single one derives to being a fucking animal, a subservient animal. When majority of the planet still sees women as subservient objects, you cannot pose as such. Ironically, the firehouse burning down is ironic. The unsinkable ship sinking is ironic. A woman who is seen as a subservient object, posing as a subservient object, is not ironic. It is not satirical. It is tone deaf, especially in a post-Roe v. Wade era.
Okay, now that TikTok does go on, and you guys can check it out if you want to. Maybe I'll link it in the description down below. But I can see exactly what this person is saying. I think it's just way too much responsibility placed on a character like Sabrina Carpenter. And I say character because Sabrina Carpenter is a character. It's a persona. It's a figment of somebody's imagination that is then pumped out into the airwaves like McDonald's pumps out the scent of their fries so that people turn into the franchise. That's all that she is. And Sabrina Carpenter's character is a hyper sexualized woman who also happens to want to kill men, I guess. She's the praying mantis that bites off her mate's head after she's done using them. And Sydney Sweeney's coming up in this comparison. She's very much like Sydney Sweeney. We just covered Sydney Sweeney selling her bathwater in bars of soap to men. And it's essentially these women who are saying, you know what? If you find me sexual, I'll not only sexualize myself and capitalize on that from both a female and male perspective, but I'll lean into it in a way that shocks the world but makes me money. And that's how it's working for both of them. And Sabrina Carpenter even acknowledged this fact in a recent Rolling Stone article. She says, "It's always so funny to me when people complain. They're like, all she does is sing about this. But those are the songs that you've made popular. Clearly you love sex. You're obsessed with it." Oh, thank you so much, Professor. And I guess whether you love or do not love sex, people are defending Sabrina Carpenter from a different perspective, saying it is her right as a woman and as a feminist to sexualize herself in whatever way she sees fit. This ex-user says, just a reminder that Sabrina Carpenter is 26 years old and can do whatever she wants with her body, and I'm here for her making the prudes mad. While men slut shame and make rape threats to Sabrina Carpenter for calling men pigs and embracing her sexuality, fake wokes are calling her a male-centric whore and refusing to acknowledge that an album calling men dumb could be intentionally provocative. Y'all are starting to say feminism equals modesty, and it's really pissing me off. Her owning and doing what she wants with her body is feminism. And lastly, Sabrina Carpenter hasn't been killing men in all of her music videos for the past 3 years for y'all to switch on her and not understand a album cover. grow a brain. So yeah, that's the big Sabrina Carpenter album cover controversy. I know you guys cared so much, as I did. As I said, my best bet on this is that she is going to subvert this man's best friend trope that she is playing into. She is going to subvert this sexual image that she is pushing out to the world, all while getting to be hot and conventionally attractive at the same time. How convenient. That'll show those men, right, ladies? While also making the ladies who identify as feminists and wear those shirts that say boys and girls should be raised the same real happy. Now, is it Sabrina Carpenter's responsibility or job to do anything that resembles groundbreaking feminist work? Of course not. Is she capable of such groundbreaking feminist work? I don't think so. So maybe we use this album cover as just a little talking point, a little discourse, or we just completely look the other way and expect what is going to come out of the pop industry for all of time ever, and is probably never going to change. This is essentially a better version of Katy Perry's Woman's World, and I think we can expect far more of this in the future. And lastly, what I'll say is, here's why the pop world is probably going to continue to be this way, and it might not be what a lot of people want to hear. This is what a lot of women and girls want. They are walking the tightrope consistently of what it means to be attractive to men and to also be a girl's girl at the same time. Now, in the pendulum swing of these two things, we're in a moment where being a girl's girl is far more important, at least to your female market and audience. And Sabrina Carpenter is teetering on that tightrope, and it seems like she might just fall off. But I bet when this album comes out, she is going to find a way to swing back in the direction of being a girl's girl. And will that way involve taking a chainsaw to the midsection of a man, or calling a man a pig and then frying him up like bacon? Probably will be the most basic thing you could possibly think of to put home the message that men suck and women are better than them. So you can count on Sabrina Carpenter, I think, to always lean back in that direction. So probably don't be fooled by this album cover, or do. Either way, she's making money. And those are my thoughts on the Sabrina Carpenter Man's Best Friend album cover. You let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. As always, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, duke it out, but do so respectfully. We encourage healthy debate on this channel. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you better.